Greetings and salutations, everybody, and it's that time of the year again to count down my personal favorite 10 games of 2016. Last year I know I did a top 15. This year I went back to my roots, went back to normal, and condensed it down to a top 10 list. Now, of course, this is my own personal picks. I would love to hear what your guys' top 10 are this year down in the comments below. Hit me up on the Twitter at @the_LordX, all that jazz. And we're going to be different. We're absolutely going to be different. There's games on this list that really speak to me. Weird games that are off the cuff, which I'm sure, I am positive, will not be on your list, especially my number 10. Now, if you know me, I think you already know what my number 10 is. After I've run through the top 10, which, spoiler alert, I've already recorded those before recording this intro. I kind of apologize for what happens at number 1, but yeah, you'll see that when you get there. But anyways, yeah, guys, thanks for jumping onto this video. Without wasting any more time, let's dive into the top 10. Afterwards, I'll have some honorable mentions and explain why some things are on the list. Just for reference alone, I play currently on PS4, Vita, and 3DS. I don't do much PC gaming anymore. I don't play on Xbox. I refuse kind of to play on mobile. But anyways, just so you know what to expect from this list, okay? Let's get started. Number 10. Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Fortune. I know what you're thinking right now, and no, Extreme 3 is not here on the list because of the jiggle physics. I put this game in at number 10 because I had a fun time with it. The volleyball gameplay is still fun, and so are the rest of the mini games. The game also provided me with my 50th and very first imported Platinum Trophy. And thus, that's great. That is awesome that I accomplished that with this game. It felt like the right game to do that with, especially with my personality, as you all know. And besides, this game, it provided me with one of my favorite running gags on the Glitched Out Gaming podcast and report. Also, boobs. Number 9. Downwell PlayStation 4 Vita version. When it finally came to Vita, I was obsessed with Downwell. It became that one game that I would always play right before I went to bed. It was simple, but at the same time, so very challenging. I honestly don't think I ever got past the second set of stages because it was so difficult. But at the same time, it was a game that just kept popping into my head when thinking of games that I really, really enjoyed this year. I'm always glad to give some love to an indie game, and especially a game that is so damn fun on the Vita. Number 8. Final Fantasy 15. As of doing this list, I'm only in Chapter 3, mostly because I've been pulled away by other games you'll see further down in this list. However, with the small amount of time I have put into it, I'm in love with Final Fantasy 15. I'm enjoying the cast, the world looks beautiful, and the combat, it feels so great. And the soundtrack is just awesome, especially since it includes a massive amount of past Final Fantasy music. I'm sure with more playtime, it would have gotten higher on this list. But it's a solid at number 8. And I'm sure once I've played more of it, I'll talk about it on future episodes of the report and podcast. So expect for me to say, maybe it should have been higher, or maybe it shouldn't have been on this list at all. But I'm really confident at putting it at number 8. Also, it finally washed out the bad taste that Final Fantasy XIII left in my mouth. Good job on bringing the franchise back, Square Enix. Number 7. Hitman. I was originally annoyed at the thought of Hitman going episodic. But boy oh boy was I ever wrong. I got the game after all the episodes were out and it went on sale, and I played through them within a week. The game brought Hitman back to the glory days of Blood Money, back to when Hitman really felt good. To have the multiple ways or methods of fulfilling a contract adds so much replayability to each episode that really any of them could have been its own game itself, with the maps being so large and the variety of ways you could kill somebody, and how once you get through a mission and you do certain challenges, you unlock other ways of starting the mission. The replayability is just through the roof on this game, and it impressed me so much that I do want to get back to the game at some point. And it could be intense at times. You could do funny little things. You could go through an entire mission with only killing the 2 people, or 3 people, or 1 person that you really need to kill. It was just so much fun. Welcome back, Agent 47. Number 6. Batman, the Telltale series. 1 episode a month, all releasing on time. That alone makes this game an amazing feat by Telltale. Something they haven't been able to do ever, really. Jokes aside, the game takes us through a fresh take on Batman's story and his supporting characters, shocking reveals, and decisions that can drastically change things. Makes this one of Telltale's best efforts yet. After seeing Batman's story played out so many times in the past, it was nice to have a change of pace and not know what to expect from the game. I would say more, but this is one of these games that should not be spoiled in any way. Just go into it and be as amazed as I was. But I will say one thing, I really hope Telltale does a Season 2, and I think with it, they'll really change things up even more, knowing what great feedback they got from the minor and some drastic changes that they did do. Bravo, Telltale. You did good for Batman. Number 5. Pokemon Sun and Moon. If not for the next 4 games on this list, Pokemon Sun would have easily been my favorite game of the year, and I'm not even finished with it yet. Gyms being replaced with the Island Challenge, HMs being removed in favor of a Pokemon rental system to travel around. Both of these things brought such a fresh take to the series. It finally felt like you were doing something new in the wonderful world of Pokemon. Most of the new Pokemon are really cool. Shoutouts to you, Mimiku. And the Alola forms of old Pokemon are pretty damn fantastic. Seeing an Alola Vulpix is really cool. And that's an ice pun, because it's an ice type now. The world itself just feels so fresh, and it's fun to be back in it again. And for a franchise that's 20 years old now, That's really impressive that they could pull this off. By far, this is my favorite game in the series since Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And putting it on this list was really tough at number 5. Essentially, it's in a 3-way tie for 3rd place with the next 2 games. That's how damn good this game is, as well as the next 2 games. Number 4. Doom! Forget Call of Duty, Battlefield, Titanfall. The king, the granddaddy of FPSs is back. That's right, it takes a lot for me to like a first-person shooter, but my god did I ever love Doom. The full throttle action of killing demons on Mars while listening to a heavy metal soundtrack was just perfection. Watching health and ammo explode out of the demon after you rip its head off is just so satisfying. Plus, even if you didn't think it was possible, Doom had a pretty damn good story mixed in with it as well. It's something that you can easily overlook because they don't really put emphasis on it like so many other first-person games would do. But if you really pay attention to what's going on, read the data logs and all that jazz, it's a pretty damn good story what's happening as well. And as Jim Sterling said in one of his videos this year, Doom Guy, for a character that doesn't say a single word, is one of the absolute most charismatic filled characters of this year, and that's damn impressive for a game that many thought was going to be bad because it was kind of in development limbo for quite some time, project being cancelled, restarted, and whatnot. The fact that Doom came out and was so, like I said, so satisfying, that's quite the accomplishment. And no, I didn't play the multiplayer, I can't comment on that. I'm a single player type of guy, so based on that alone, I fucking love Doom. And it deserves number 4 on my list. And it was damn close to being number 3, and at one point of this year, back when I played it originally, it was sitting in at number 2 right away. But anyways, let's continue with this list. Number 3, Stardew Valley. Okay, first off, just take a look at this picture, this one picture, and it'll sum up everything you need to know on why this is number 3 on my list. You see that? That's 70 plus hours of in-game time that I've spent with Stardew Valley in the 2 weeks that it's been out. I'm almost through the 2nd year now. I'm in the fall, getting ready for winter. I'm growing crops like a madman, making roughly 16,000 every time my eggplants grow. And there's still more for me to do. So much more. I've got an entirely new mine that I need to go down through after reaching level 120 in the first set of mines that you start into. It's insane. Stardew Valley is a true spiritual successor to Harvest Moon. To quote Pro Jared, this game was made as Harvest Moon, with taking out the stuff that kind of made Harvest Moon kind of crappy, honestly. The game is tough, but it's fair when you start, and it gives you so much to do, from farming crops, to fighting and mining in the mines, caring for animals. You can go fishing, you can build relationships with the townsfolk, and there's so much more you can do in this game, from rebuilding the community center. Maybe you don't want to rebuild the community center in the way of like harvesting and collecting stuff and making these bundles. Maybe you want to get a membership at the Jaja Mart or Joja Mart, however you want to pronounce it. I honestly can't remember right now, and I've played over 70 hours of the game. I just haven't spent time in that building. But if you do, you buy a membership there, they break down the community center and build a warehouse, and your whole thing of repairing everything around town then results in money. So you want to go full board capitalism in this game? You can do that too. So the choice there, that's really cool in itself. Just Stardew Valley, it's just a beautifully crafted game that is just so damn charming. Honestly, do yourself a favor and pick up this game. It's kind of sad that it took me this long to play it since it came to PS4. I kind of avoided the PC version because I kind of knew how addicted I would get picking up the PS4 version, because, you know, trophies, me, that kind of regard. But anyways, the time I've spent with Stardew Valley has been really, really great. I've loved every single minute of it. It's a great game that I encourage you all to give a shot at playing. And that's why it's here at number 3 on my list, earning my silver trophy of this year. Number 2, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. A Thief's End was the perfect way to wrap up such an amazing franchise. The story of just one more treasure hunt for Nathan Drake and how it affects his life and those around him is just so compelling. Filled with laughs, tension, suspense, wonder, and just pure joy. It's some of the best storytelling you will find in any medium, in my opinion. The gameplay itself is as solid as always, but the addition of the grappling hook makes things even better. The little callbacks to previous games, such as the Crash Bandicoot scene, and the little moments of character interaction are just the icing on what is a perfect, delicious cake. And then the final scene, the epilogue, is just one of beauty. I won't spoil anything, but it had me smiling and in tears at the same time. And as soon as the Naughty Dog logo appeared and the credits started rolling, I did something that it takes a lot for me to do in a game after finishing playing it. I clapped. I was impressed. I was blown away by what I had just experienced, what I had gone through. And even now, just thinking back to it, I started to tear up a little bit because this was saying goodbye to a bunch of characters that over the last 10 years I had grown to love and enjoy seeing and going on adventures with. So Uncharted 4 is a masterpiece of a game, and it was extremely, extremely tough not to have this as my number 1 game of the year. But it gets my gold trophy, it gets second place. But at number 1, folks, there was only one game that deserved my number 1 spot of the year, my platinum trophy, and that game is number 1, The Last Guardian. And folks, for this one, I'm going completely off the cuff. For the last 9 games, I wrote up a script that I followed by somewhat deviated a little bit. But for The Last Guardian, I wanted to speak about this game completely from the heart, without following a script. Maybe that's going to be a bad thing in a few seconds when I start repeating myself and whatnot, but I was extremely excited for The Last Guardian. 8-9 years ago when the game was first announced, I was amazed, I was enthralled, and it didn't come out, and you wait and you wait and you don't hear these things. You hear that it's being canceled, it's not canceled, it's coming back. It was a roller coaster of a ride right up until E3 of 2015, where it was re-revealed again, and Sean Layton, he announced the game as a long-awaited PlayStation title, a story about companionship and friendship. And that's what we got from this game. That's what makes The Last Guardian so special. And I'm starting to tear up again just thinking about the game. And I'll be honest, I went into this game, I was extremely excited. I got the collector's edition of this thing, for Christ's sakes. I was so anticipating this game. But at the same time, I knew what I was going to get myself into. This was going to be a game that kind of played like a PS2 game control-wise. Late PS2, early PS3, that kind of deal. And essentially that's kind of what we got. The controls are not the easiest to figure out. But what I didn't expect in this game was how much I was going to fall in love with Trico. And I know people have complained about how Trico doesn't respond to people and how he won't do the right command sometime, or it'll be frustrating and whatnot. But I didn't mind those things, because as I played the game and experienced Trico sometimes not listening to me and, not obeying the commands I was trying to give to him, sometimes it was me doing the wrong thing, like giving the wrong type of command to him. But I kind of like that stubbornness because it made him feel a lot more like a real creature. Anybody that's owned a pet knows that pets are stubborn. They're not going to do every little thing you say. And watching how the boy and Trico grow closer together in the game is it is beautiful, and it reminded me growing up with my pet cat. Because when they first meet, they're not quite sure of each other. There's a lot of fear between the both of them, really. But over time, as Trico helps the boy, grabbing him and preventing him from falling to his death, or the boy saving Trico, taking the spears out of his back, distracting the soldiers enough so that Trico can kill them. It was just so nice, seeing that friendship build over time. And there were moments in the game which, kind of tugged at your heartstrings, and it made you fearful that things were ending between the two of them. And I don't want to say much because I don't want to spoil anything for this beautifully crafted masterpiece of a game. It honestly is one of the greats. From the first moment I got to pet Trico, it was love at first sight. And going in through an archway that Trico couldn't follow, and seeing him poke his head in through and start whimpering because he couldn't follow you, it was cute and heartbreaking. Petting Trico and just off the cuff saying, don't worry, fat guy, I'll be back. I'm not abandoning you. The connection that you grow with that animal is just so great. And trying not to spoil anything here, the ending to the game, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. I finished this game at 2 a.m. in the morning, tired, watching the final cutscene. I was kind of tearing up a little bit, getting a bit watery-eyed. I didn't break down though. I was smiling. I had a really happy smile on my face, but at the same time, that smile was both happy and sad, that kind of deal, because I was happy to have experienced this adventure. And I encourage you, if you haven't played this game yet, do not look at the trophy list. Do not read what the trophies are. I didn't do that, and for me, once I finished the game, after all was said and done, the trophy popped up for finishing the game, for completing the adventure. And the name of that trophy, reading that caused me to break down and cry. Just full on. And then the days after finishing The Last Guardian, I just kept thinking back to it. thinking back to this experience I just had, how I had grown close to this animal, and how at the end, like finishing the game and then cutting it away, how I had to say goodbye to that animal. It made me remember my pet cat. I'm crying now because it's making me remember again. It made me remember my pet cat, and that was 6 years, over 6 years ago now, close to 7. I had to say goodbye to her as well. So maybe this game, for that connection, for bringing up those memories, it made me love it all that much more. For a game to do that for me, like I said, pure masterpiece, folks. And it was definitely worth the wait. I'm glad I got to experience this game, and I really hope that you're able to play it and have that connection like I was. And that's why it's #1 for me this year, because of those feelings it gave me. Games like this do not come around all that often, and the way the industry is going, we're probably not going to get too many more of these, to be quite honest. So I thank the developers for this game. Iwata, thank you so much. Thank you, Sony, for sticking with this game and making sure it came out. And I have rambled on here for way too long right now about this game and why it is my game of the year. Anyways, folks, that's going to be a wrap. It's time to talk about some honorable mentions and whatnot. So there you have it, folks. That's my top 10 games of 2016. This year, there were so many great, fantastic games that came out. There were some disappointments. For me personally, the new Mirror's Edge, Bound, both of those games really disappointed me. Like I said at the beginning, I did have a few honorable mentions that I wanted to throw out there. The first being Firewatch. I love that game this year. I really threw it back and forth if I really wanted to include it. The one thing that really disappointed me about that game was the ending, so I kind of felt like I wasn't going to put it on there. And there were games that I haven't played enough of to warrant putting it here on the list, those things being XCOM 2, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Pokken, Mystery Chronicles, One Way Heroics, Digimon Stories, Cyber Sleuth. I really enjoyed that game. And then there's the games that I didn't play. I do own now, but I wanted to get this list out in time. If I had to sit through and play everything, I wouldn't be getting this video up until like March, May, and by that point I'd be playing 2017 games and it wouldn't feel relevant anymore. So out of the games that I didn't play, which maybe they would have made this list, I'm sure some of them would. Ratchet and Clank, the reboot of that franchise, I really want to start playing that game, and I probably will very early in the next year before the onslaught of games start coming out. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I picked that up on a Black Friday sale, but never got around to playing it yet. Crypt of the Necrodancer, I did start that one, started playing it, fucking love that soundtrack, my favorite soundtrack of last year. Finally came to the Vita and PS4 this year. What I played was fun, but I, again, fall into the category of I really want to play more of it. Darkest Dungeon, I bought that and I still haven't played it yet. Only recently though, when it went on the holiday sale. And speaking of the final week of the PlayStation holiday sale this week, I hope this week, I'm hoping to get this video out this week. I picked up Inside and Virginia, both games that I've heard fantastic things about. And of course there's other games like Fire Emblem Fates on the 3DS, Bravely Second on the 3DS. So many games this year. Super Dimension, Neptune versus Sega Hard Girls, which I never got around to playing yet, but really want to. There were a ton of games that I left out that I didn't get a chance to play. And of course there's stuff that didn't interest me. Overwatch, for example, I know that's high on a lot of people's list for this year. I'm just not a multiplayer shooter kind of guy, so the game really didn't call to me. I love the animated shorts that they did. If they did a single player campaign for Overwatch, I'd be all over that. I'd love to play that. The same thing with like Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1. I really want to play the campaigns in those games, but I'm not going to pay like $50 or $40 for those games. I'll wait till they drop to like 20 and then I'll pick them up and play them that way. There was just so much good in this year, folks, so much good. And that's what makes me interested to see what games are on your list for this year. What games did you love playing? Which games emotionally wrecked you, like you just saw The Last Guardian did for me when I started thinking about it and trying to explain why I loved it so much. Sorry for the waterworks during that, folks. It hits hard. But anyways, folks, like I said at the beginning, I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know what your favorite games of the year are down below. And once again, I thank you so much for tuning into this video. I always appreciate seeing those views go up. Like is fun. I'm not going to fall into that whole like, comment, subscribe bullshit. I just want to hear from you guys what you like. So comment. You don't have to like the video if you don't want to. None of that jazz. Subscribe. I don't care. I just want to hear from you guys what your favorite games are of this year. Let me know down in the comments below. I'm hoping early January, probably within the first few days. I have New Year's Day off and January 2nd off. As of right now, I'm hoping to record my 10 most anticipated games of 2017 there. We'll see how that goes compared to last year when I did that, or early this year when I did it. And hopefully I'll be doing a top 10 movies video as well. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I have been Lord X, you have been awesome, and I will catch you next time. Spoiler warning, Persona 5 or Danganronpa V3 are going to win my Game of the Year of 2017. Just saying it right now.